Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Well, if you're new here, my name is Christian, and in this video we're going to be going over a new car that I picked up for the channel. If you guys read the title, you guys have seen the picture as well, that it is a 2019 Honda Insight. It is my first Honda. I've always had V6 cars, so I had like a G35, I have a 370Z currently, and I also had an Altima and a Maxima as well. They're also 3.5, and this is my first inline 4-cylinder car that I will be bringing to the channel. This is also a hybrid, so this is going to be really cool for those of you that are looking to save a little bit on gas. Well, actually in this case quite a bit with this type of car. So I'm going to actually show you the car right now, show you what it looks like. I feel like a lot of you guys will like it, especially with these gas prices. I know they're pretty crazy right now. So let's go ahead and show you guys the car. Alright guys, there you go. Here is the 2019 Honda Insight. This thing is really clean. I really like it a lot. I love the body style of it. If you guys see the other generations of the Honda Insight, they do not look very good. They're not very appealing to the eye, but this one is. It's super clean. The color on this car, I believe, is like an orchid white, so it's very different. I believe the Honda Accord does not have this color. Only the Honda Insight does. The Honda Accord has a white pearl, but they do not have an orchid color. So I was looking for a few parts to try to put on this car, and the color is different, so be aware of that. And the color on this car is beautiful. I did show a clip earlier of the color, but the color has a lot of pearl and it looks really nice. So not sure if you guys can really see that, but there's so much pearl on this car, it just stands out a lot. Like when you clean it up, you can see all the sparkle. It looks really good. Now talking about the Honda Insight and the Accord, the front end is very similar to the Honda Accord. So if you guys are interested in picking this car versus that one, the only reason we went with this one versus the Accord is because this one actually gets a little bit better gas mileage. This one gets about 55 miles per gallon, where the Accord I believe gets about 49. It is a 1.5 cylinder engine, so it's a 4-cylinder on this car, and I believe the Accord has a 2.0 option that has a little bit more horsepower, but again, you're getting a hybrid, so it's not going to be very fast, where the point of this car is to try to save some money in your pocket when it comes to gas mileage. You do not see a lot of Honda Insights on the road. I've had this car for a few months already. I think it's been about a little bit over 2 months, and I have only seen about 4 in that entire time period. So it's like a kind of rare car. You don't really see it a lot, and it also looks really good, so it kind of stands out a little bit more from the other cars as well. One huge difference from the Honda Accord versus the Insight is the rear bumper and rear taillights. The Honda Accord has like 2 spikes that go this way, as where this one kind of goes into one, and it does kind of look like an Audi at night, like with the shape of the taillights and the rear bumper. I'll try to drop down some pictures and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. I just had that nice little spoiler in the back, like a little duckbill, so that's really neat. We will be installing a different one on the car later on. Alright guys, so we are now inside of the Honda Insight. I wanted to show you how the interior actually looks all the way around. As you can see, the seats are pretty plain. There's nothing much like to it, but they are pretty soft. And then all the material that is placed inside of the car has a great like feeling touch to it, so it feels really nice. This right here is like kind of soft. Same thing up here, a little bit soft but stiff at the same time. But the steering wheel is like my favorite part about the interior. There's a lot of cars that you will see steering wheels that do not look really good. They're not really like pleasant to look at, but if you look at this steering wheel, it looks pretty sporty in my opinion. So it has this like nice detail right here that goes to the bottom, and then it has this like bolstering right here to hold onto it, where your fingers can kind of sit in there. But overall, it's a great looking car. There's a lot of features in this car. For example, lane assistance, which is one of my favorite. I have never had that in a car. So when you're driving in this car, you can press the lane assistance and it's actually going to guide you through the lines and drive the car itself. Of course, you still want to keep your arms around the wheel, making sure that you're attentive at all time, but it's a great feature to have on this car. It's super dope. Another thing that it has is this feature right here, where it'll stay away from a vehicle at a certain distance once you press that button. So it's always checking the distance in front of a car to see how far you are from it, and then stopping the car from going any further towards it. So that's another cool feature that's on this car that I did not know about. And honestly, it's like one of my favorite things. Another thing that this car has is it actually has cameras on the side of the mirrors. That way you can see if somebody is next to you. So if you press that button, it is now showing your side instead of looking to the other side as well. So there's this button right here that you can push that will do that for you. Now, when using this camera right here to turn right, it only works when turning right. It doesn't work when turning left. Of course, I believe that's going to be for a safety feature, because if you're planning on turning left, you don't want to be looking at the camera right here. You would want to be looking at your actual mirror to see if anybody is actually next to you. So just keep that in mind. It only works for one side. So push that button again on the side and it goes away and it goes back to the infotainment system. Now, it does the same thing as well when you put your turn signal on. Once you turn your turn signal on, it's actually going to put the camera on for you. So that's pretty dope. I like that a lot. It's a really dope feature on the car. Now, with the gauges, there's a few things that you are able to see or read on the car. So if we look at the gauges right now, you have this left one, and then you have the right one that's over here on this side. This is going to be your gas, and then this is going to be the electric motor, how much battery it has. So what the car is essentially doing is it's recharging the battery, and once you are driving for some time and you stay within the charge area, it's going to boost the battery up and charge it for some time. As the car starts driving, it's going to try to use the battery a little bit more. So you will see that the car will now change to the battery by changing your features on here. So you can click on the home page and you can actually change it to the power flow, and it's going to show you where the car is getting its power from. So sometimes it's using the actual motor itself, but then it's also sometimes using the battery or just the battery itself. So keep that in mind. The car does have two motors. The two motors produce a different amount of horsepower. With both motors combined, it creates about 150 horsepower. As with one motor, I believe it only creates about 100 horsepower, if not a little bit more. So that's a pretty cool feature. I have never had that. This is my first time having a hybrid with like an electric motor. So that's pretty dope to have something on this car. But there's a lot of cool information that you would want to know about this car owning a hybrid. Of course, you will want to know what your actual range and fuel are. So it tells you what you're currently averaging about. So when we purchased the car, for some reason it had about 30 miles, and I believe it was because of the previous person was not using eco mode quite a bit. If you want to get the most miles per gallon out of this car, you really do have to use the eco mode at all times. So as we've been driving it, it was at 33, and now it's been going up to 42, and it's going even higher every single day that we drive the car. So I'm trying to see if it does go back up to that 55 miles per gallon range, but as I keep driving, we'll see how far it gets. Another cool feature that we have on this car is actually going to be the little paddle shifters. So in most regular cars, you will see paddle shifters used to downshift the car to go to a lower gear and go to a higher gear, of course, on this side as well. With this car, it's a little bit different. You're actually using the gears to kind of slow down the car a little bit. So as you're driving, you'll push this button. You can do it about twice, and then it's actually going to go down 2 levels, or maybe 1 if you only click it once, to slow down the car. I usually use this when I'm in traffic and I want to slow down. I use it twice. I start slowing the car down, and then I can push this twice to go back up in order to speed the car up a little bit more. So it's not like a regular car where you're actually using it to downshift and then either upshift. It's just slowing down the car, and this does not make the car any faster. This is just putting it back to where it was normally. This is what actually helps or does something. Now, if we look towards the center console area, we do have our park, our reverse, our neutral, drive, and then like our emergency parking brake. Here you have your Eco, Sport, EV. EV is your electronic motor. And then you have these other 2 features. You do have like a regular mode, which is not Sport or Eco. It's just like the regular mode that the car is in most of the time when you turn it on. So if you push the Eco mode button, it's going to take off eco mode. It's just going to be like in a regular mode. And then here we have the display. This thing is amazing. I love the maps. I've had no issues with the maps. So you can connect your phone via USB, for either Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and you can actually use that with your phone, and then it'll display the maps on there. So it's pretty cool. I love it. There's nothing that I really dislike about the screens. Everything works perfect, fast, really user friendly, no issues at all. You have your FM if you want to listen to the radio, and then you can choose your station. So it's pretty much like any other regular car. You do have Bluetooth as well, which is a cool feature, which most people actually want in their car. So they have everything on here that you really need for your car. And then here you have your little cubby trays. There's another one that I actually forgot to put back in here, but there's another cubby where you actually slide it over. You can put 2 cups in there for your drinks. And then here you have the back seats. Pretty standard. The seats actually do go down, so if you want to fold the seats down, you can actually go to the back seat, you can pull the line, and then it'll open it for you. So since we're talking about the back seats, let's go ahead and move over there. All right, so here we are at the back seat. As you can see, there's a lot of space in here. There is so much room to place anything in here, really. There's a lot of room. I have had no complaints with it at all. As for the releasing mechanism, it's right here. You pull this and this will actually release the seats in the front. Same thing with this one. It is a 2-in-1, so you have the smaller one that goes down, and then you have the larger one that goes down as well. The car actually has a really small muffler. So if you guys can see that, it's super small. It's like the tiniest thing that I've ever seen. All right, so here are the wheels. These things are in really good shape, and they have brand new tires. So I don't plan on changing them out anytime soon, just because it has brand new tires, but I would like to add some new wheels on here. These are 215 55 16, so they're 16-inch wheels. They look kind of bigger than 16-inch, but I think it's just because it has a fatter tire on there, but it looks really good, and these wheels themselves look really good. So these are actual wheels. I know some cars come with like some caps on them that just put on there. This is not like that. These actually come with the real wheels, so it looks really nice, and you can remove them. You should have your locking nut inside of your car in order to remove this thing right here, and the rest of them are just regular nuts that go on the car. But yeah, the wheels look really nice. I really like them a lot. Alright guys, so at this point the wind noise got pretty bad, so I'm going to go ahead and do a voiceover talking about the engine, the components, and everything that I know about this car. At this point, I am fairly new to the 4-cylinder gang along with the Honda gang, so I don't know too much, but I will share with you as much as possible. And of course, I will be learning along the process, so you guys will be learning as I go as well. So as of right now, this car is really dirty when it comes to the engine bay. I do need to replace the air filter. This engine is a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. You can tell by looking at these components right here that it is a 4-cylinder, and it's an inline 4-cylinder. Right here you have your dipstick for your oil, and then you have the main line that is connected to the electric motor. And then of course here in the middle you have your gas motor. So these cars do come equipped with a CVT transmission. CVT transmissions are usually driven by a belt, so it's pretty different from a regular transmission. You can usually feel when they shift gears from first to second or third, as where a CVT transmission you will never feel it switch a gear. If you do, usually there's a problem with it, but in most cases they are very smooth and you cannot feel when they switch at all. Now here we have a few more components for the engine. So you have your reservoirs for your brake fluid, power steering, and also your radiator cap. So if you ever need to check it or you need to find out where they are, that's what they are. And the one all the way to the left, the blue one, that's going to be your washer fluid. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and end the video right here. Hope you guys really enjoyed it and liked the new car that we're going to be adding to the channel. This is a very clean daily that we can make look a lot better. So I do have future plans for this car to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I do want to go ahead and add the fog lights that come on these cars. This is the EX model, so it doesn't have like the fog lights and stuff like that. So I will be adding that. I do want to add the new air intake filter. I want to black out all the chrome on this car. I do have a wing already that I want to install, but we need to do some custom work to make it fit properly because it was for like a different car. I do have a front lip as well, so there's quite a few things that we're going to be adding onto it, and more things in the future that I want to do to it as well. For example, like some wheels. The wheels on this car are really nice already, and it has brand new tires, so I don't really want to change it out right now, but it's something we most likely will be doing in the future. But other than that, as you guys can see, it's a great car. We save a lot of money on gas. On my Z, which is my 370, I spend about 70 to 80 bucks just to fill that car up. With this car, I spent about $35 to fill it up, and it lasts me longer than the 370Z. So just think about that, how much money I'm saving just by having a hybrid and using this car on a daily basis. If you guys have any specific videos that you guys want to see on this channel in regards to this car right here, make sure to go ahead and leave some comments down below of things that you're interested in watching. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.